What are we going to do against Nebraska, which is going to be a more pass-happy team than traditional Nebraska teams, and what do you think the spread will be?
Well, I can tell you that they probably won't go for 2.
What's the spread?
Spread's going to be, I don't know, Oregon 2-point underdog?
Ducks by a field goal. Well,
Yeah.
I was going to say Ducks by a field goal, maybe. I don't know.
Well, maybe we'll bet on that.
Yeah, I want some action here.
That's either going to be a really big win for Willie Taggart or a really big win for Mike Riley. I think it's going to be a great game.
I think that the Ducks have a better chance of beating Nebraska than they do Wyoming. I just think, you know, if you recall years ago when the Ducks played Michigan here, and the place was sold out, and the Ducks won. And then the next week they got beat by the Cougs 55-14. But that game that was it. It was a big moment. All you fans are going to make it a magical place, and I think you're going to just see the very best possible effort that you could see out of the Ducks. And I don't think Nebraska's offense is really very well established at this point, that, you know, you could get them kind of in a tough game and prevail.
Yeah, and that is going to be the first fascinating one, because Southern Utah, you assume, is going to be a pick your score thing no matter, you know, what happens. So that will be kind of, and it's at home. You know, I think if you're really tired, you'd almost rather have that one be on the road. It's like that's going to be your first tough test, and the crowd's going to be coming there. And like he mentioned, that thing's going to be probably 30% red at least. So, and that secondary, like we say, that there's going to be some veterans on there, some new guys, and they're not going to really been testing against their new just. So that's really going to be the first time in the fire, which you mentioned, a quarterback who throws it more than the guy they had last year. So I do think that's going to be a fascinating study just to see that game. And if Oregon can go with them, like you say, it would be a huge win for them. But lose that and then go to Wyoming, all of a sudden, I think this whole season could kind of turn on those two games. You know, if they can win both those and then go into conference play at 3-0, if you lose, you know, it's a huge deal considering who you start conference with. If they're 1-2 in those and going into conference, I don't think they feel as good about each other.
Nebraska's got a lot going on. They've got a new quarterback, Tanner Lee, a transfer from Tulane. Their receiving core is pretty thin, and they've got a new defensive coordinator, Mark Banker, who'd been with Mike Riley forever, got fired last year, so they've got Bob Diaco as their new coordinator. So with all those moving parts with Nebraska, I feel like it's probably not a bad time to catch them second week of the season at home, knowing that the crowd is going to be fired up. You know, the bloom is still on the rose with Willie Taggart. Everybody's feeling good after Southern Utah, so I think that's a pretty good spot to catch Nebraska.
If not for that Nebraska game last year, or say Oregon goes for 1 after they get the first 2, Willie Taggart might not be here.
Set the whole thing in motion. Or if that last pass at the end just goes a little bit further, Charles Nelson was open down there. Dakota Prukop could have got that ball there. Whole season could
I mean, we're looking forward, obviously, but they would have been 3-0 coming home against Colorado, which another game they had won. And, oh, well.